to order, please. Could I have the roll call?
Emily Pacchetti's chair.
Here.
Lauren Welch, vice chair. Mayor Marie Gallo.
Here.
Ms. Deidre McPherson. And Mr. Jeffrey Sleesman.
Here.
Okay.
You have 3 out of 5.
Great. So the first, there's 2 things on the agenda. First, the approval of the minutes from May 20th, the May 20th meeting. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sorry, I'm sleepy this morning. Anyone opposed? Okay, so the minutes are approved from that meeting, and we'll move on to the RFP procurement. It's a presentation of a competitive negotiated procurement for integrated marketing services for 3 years with 2 one-year options. And I'd like to welcome Sharon Jenkins, Director of Marketing, to the podium with Drew Dimmick, Contract Administrator. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Pachetti, members of the committee, and members of the board. My name is Sharon Jenkins. I am the Director of Marketing for Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority, and I'm here to co-present with Drew Dimmick from the Procurement Department for the Integrated Marketing Services RFP 2025-13. And we renamed this. It's a recurring contract that goes out for competitive bid proposals, and we renamed it from advertising services to integrated marketing services to more accurately reflect the contract relationship with RTA. It is a support for the marketing services, for the marketing department, and we have changed and enhanced our team and brought in more talent and are able to do more of the work in-house. So we work with this contract together to do our marketing services. So the purpose of this contract is to select a qualified agency to support GCRTA's marketing team as a strategic partner, filling resource gaps, providing creative and technical expertise, and lifting the load on key campaigns and deliverables. The scope of work highlights include elevating GCRTA's brand to align with its mission, connecting the community, position GCRTA as an anchor in the region's economic and workforce ecosystem, and develop focused campaigns to engage and grow ridership across diverse audiences. As mentioned earlier, this contract will provide integrated support and work with the marketing team on annual brand campaigns, special projects, and creative services, help with media buying, buying analytics, media planning, buying analytics, and annual marketing strategy, produce annual report, creative and website content integration with Drupal, which is our CMS, our content management system for our internet and intranet, and marketing research, social media analytics, and promotional partnerships. And although not outlined in here with the scope of work highlights, one of the factors that was articulated in the contract and as part of the evaluation process was ADA compliance for all materials produced with this contract. And now I'll hand it over to Drew.
Good morning, Chair Pachetti, members of the committee, and members of the board. My name is Drew Dimmick, and I'm the contract administrator for this RFP. The request for proposal was issued on February 2nd, 2025, and accessed on the GCRTA website by 101 interested parties, and proposals were due on March 18th, 2025, with 15 firms proposing. We had a very diverse evaluation panel consisting of members from administration and external affairs, marketing, management information services, service management, the Office of Business Development, and procurement. The evaluation criteria included creative approach, understanding, and capacity to service the scope of work, experience working with other retail-oriented service-related clients, experience in developing social media-driven marketing initiatives, experience working with a public transit system, experience in developing joint promotional programs, and cost. The recommended firm is the AdCom Group Incorporated, located here in Cleveland, Ohio. A 13% DBE goal was assigned to this project and will be achieved through the use of Media Impressions Incorporated, which is a female-owned business. Cleveland-based and deeply rooted in the local market, AdCom brings unmatched knowledge of Greater Cleveland's civic landscape, audiences, and institutions. They have proven success in high-profile civic, healthcare, and public sector campaigns. They are well-positioned to elevate GCRTA's brand, grow ridership, and enhance public perception. They have a ready-to-go team with strong media, government, and community ties with strategic access to civic leaders, and they maintain continuity using a subcontractor experienced in GCRTA media buying and reconciliation. Some of their other clients include the Cleveland Clinic Foundation, Destination Cleveland, Great Lakes Brewing Company, Medical Mutual of Ohio, Travel Centers of America, GetGo, among others. Staff requests that the Organizational Services and Performance Monitoring Committee recommend to the Board of Trustees an award to the AdCom Group Incorporated to provide integrated marketing services for a period of 3 years in a negotiated amount not to exceed $2,100,000 with 2 one-year options in an amount not to exceed $700,000 for each option year, for a total contract amount not to exceed $3,500,000. I'll be happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
Just quickly, I appreciate the changes in scope of this contract in terms of how we're approaching it. How does this compare to previous contracts when it comes to cost? And also, if I could just get, I don't have a specific question, but if I could just get a little bit more about internal versus external, how this, the approach of this.
So the last contract was $850,000 per year. It was a one-year contract with 2 one-year options back in November of 2021. And then if you want to speak about the differences.
So previously, it is my understanding before my arrival, I've been here 3.5 years, about 3 years. The contractor, this contract, primarily did all of the advertising work for GCRTA independent of the staff. The staff was not really involved with creating or supporting that. And we have changed the roles of our staff. We have more talent, we have more in-house talent, and we are producing and working collaboratively with this contract and reducing the dependency for this contract. We still need them, but this is something that we've been working on to upskill our staff and our in-house talent.
I'll add, this is Dr. Natoya Walker-Minor. I'll add that 4 years ago, what we did was we redesigned the marketing department to create internal, external, and social means of communications. So we really created an integrated marketing department as opposed to a general marketing department so that we could do exactly as Sharon has articulated. I made a commitment to CEO Birdsong when I was hired that if I were allowed to hire additional staff to diversify the marketing capabilities, that we would be able to reduce the contract that we're contracting out. This is an example of that. And the marketing that we see for the agency is a result of the much more integrated talent that we have on the team and less reliance on the contractor.
Great, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, from the full board, yeah.
Sure. And Sharon, I think this is not a retainer, but this is a fee-for-service model. So now that you've got more bench strength internally, you will make assignments to them and are billed accordingly for it. So it could be that you don't use the full 700 in any particular year.
Thank you, Mayor Kumar. That is correct. This contract is on an as-needed basis, and we go through the year project by project. The scope of work did identify some projects that we traditionally do with this contractor. However, that is subject to change depending on the needs of the authority. And we are flexible. They bill us hourly, and we may not expend the entire amount.
Just a follow-up to that, how are we thinking, like, will AdCom also be able to, or be given the, like, a project per se to make recommendations or respond to existing marketing strategies? Like, will we be able to leverage their expertise broadly, rather than, like, other than project-based assignments? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So they do serve as a consultant on a consultant role for us. They are integrated in the community, and they can help us not only with marketing, but with other special projects or asks, or to help with collaboration with community projects or groups.
I'll add, this is Natoya again, I'll add that the way that we manage the contract is we hold monthly meetings with the contractor so that we can be fully integrated as a team. They're an extension of us, so that we make the plans and we work the plans. And part of the plans, majority of the plans, we'll do in-house, but for things that we need to contract out, we'll contract that out. And that's all in discussion. It's all in a planning process. We do not do it in isolation. It is not siloed. So it is a plan. For example, we know that the first two projects that the contractor will have will be our new brand theme. We've been Let's Go Together for about 3.5 years, so that will be the first project. We also know the holiday campaign. So those are things in our ongoing integrated marketing, planning, and strategy inside of the department that when we meet with them on a regular basis, we share that with them and we move forward. We ideate with them. So that it is imperative that we are completely collaborative and integrated in our approach, so that is seamless, whether the marketing items are coming in from the contractor or us. It should be seamless to the reader, right? Whatever signage, whatever social is out there. And that is the way you do it, in collaboration, ongoing full communication.
Thank you, that's helpful.
If I can piggyback just for one quick moment, and then I know we've got a lot on the agenda. Just to piggyback off what Natoya, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Wanted to mention as well, I usually meet alongside the marketing team, at least on about a semi-annual basis, to be able to go over the vision of RTA in accordance with our mission and connecting the community and all of the other kind of plans that we have, especially with the strategic plan, and how to be able to connect with the community in a way that resonates with our ridership. So I would imagine with this one as well, we'll have kickoff meetings. There'll be several kind of charrettes in-house to be able to talk with the now new company, to be able to think about, hey, this is where we want to go. What is your, vendor ABC? What is your vision on how to make that come alive? We had a lot of good experience doing that. I think that was a relatively newer concept. It started with the previous marketing department, predating Natoya and Sharon and Drew as well, to be able to think about how to really make that come alive. There were a lot of different scenarios that were pitched, and usually we go through a whittling process. It takes a while to be able to figure out what that looks like. I also wanted to mention, if we could really quickly just harp on the fact that we had a lot of good participation in this process. Our contract has been going on for quite a while. The incumbent that's coming in, AdCom, is a great partner. They're down the street in another direction. Brokaw, who we worked with before, over 20 years, in fact, with this contract, did a great job for us, but we have evolved and adjusted some of what our expectations are for the vendor. They've moved along with that, but it's a testament, I think, to the team internally and to the digital footprint that's really out there to have, is it 15 interested or parties, Drew, if I'm not mistaken?
Over 100 interested in 15
Over-
proposals, yeah.
That's huge, because I want to say the last time that we put this contract out, there were not even 5. So being able to think about how we can really encourage people to look at RTA differently has been tremendous.
That's really exciting, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, can I have a motion to take this to the full board?
I'll make the motion to take it to the full board.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. So thank you very much for your presentation. And I believe that is it for our agenda today for the committee, so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Call to order this meeting of the Operational Planning and Infrastructure Committee. Could I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Jeffrey Sleesman, Chair.
Here.
Ms. Lauren Welch, Vice Chair. Mayor Marie Gallo.
Here.
Mr. Stephen Love.
Yes.
Reverend Charles Lucas. You have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item is an approval of the minutes from May 6th. Do I have any comments or changes on those? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion Gallo.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Those minutes stand approved. We have 3 items on the agenda today. They're all change orders, proposed change orders. The first is a presentation of a negotiated change order for additional construction services for the Tower City East Portal Rehabilitation Project. And the presenters are Grant Kirsch, resident engineer, and Jonathan Lawley, program contract manager. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Sleesman, committee members, and members of the board. My name is Grant Kirsch, resident engineer, and today I am presenting on the Tower City East Portal Rehabilitation change order. To give a little background, this contract was awarded to the Great Lakes Construction Company on January 23rd, 2024 by resolution number 2024-6 for the rehab of the east portals at Tower City in an amount not to exceed $15,739,633. So the bulk of this project is concrete restoration, and here's a good before and after photo of some of the work we're doing out there. That photo on the left, that's the before. You can see that exposed rebar on the ceiling and the forms on the left on that wall. And then the photo on the right is once the ceiling was formed and poured and the forms removed, you can see the outcome there. Here's some more photos from the site, starting with that picture on the left. That's an aerial view looking down. Where that excavator is sitting, that's track 10 east. Track 8 is the one in the middle that kind of dives down, and then track 7 is to the left of that. So that's where they're currently working right now. Track 6 is all the way on the left. So track 6 and 7, most of the concrete patching work is complete in that area. And now they're moving on to 8, 10 east, and 13. And like I said, track 8 is the one that dives down, and that is where a bulk of the work is. Those walls get up to 40 feet tall, so it's just a lot of surface area to patch. That middle photo, you can see some fallen concrete over the years, and because of that, we've put up those signs on the right, the do not enter signs. So like you saw, this project is located east of the Tower City rail platform within the concrete structures along track 6, 7, 8, 10 east, and 13. The concrete patching quantity has exceeded the bid item. The portals have experienced falling concrete, exposed rebar, and water intrusion. So the goal of this project is to rehabilitate the concrete to alleviate these issues. This proposed change order is to increase the bid quantity for item 519 by 6,400 square feet. The original quantity was 2,900 square feet. Multipliers of up to 2x can be applied by the contractor to the patch area based on depth of repair. And the next slide, I'll go into that a little bit more. And the engineer's estimate for this change order is $1,218,500. So here's that table I mentioned. You can see along the top the different patch depths. So 0 to 6 inches, there's no multiplier. 6 to 10 inches, there's a 1.5 multiplier, and anything over 10 gets doubled. And as of April 1st, you can see the total of 2,675 square feet. So like I mentioned, the contract total was 2,900 square feet. So as of April 1st, we were getting very close. And then the row underneath that is the estimated remaining. And so the square footage was verified through RTA Engineering, the contractor, our third-party inspector. So we were out on site marking off the square footage, but the depth is unknown until you actually start getting into those patches. So using our estimates, we came up with an additional 6,625 square feet, which puts the new total at 9,300 square feet. So the 9,300 square feet minus the 2,900 base contract works, that's where the 6,400 square feet comes from.
Good morning, Chairperson Sleesman, committee members, members of the board, Jonathan Lawley, Program Contract Manager. As granted, as spoken, the resolution for this was 2024-6 in the amount not to exceed $15,739,633. The notice to proceed is effective on February 20th, 2024. The general manager's change order authority on this project is $500,000. To date, there have been 13 change orders issued, and of that $500,000, $85,774.15 remains for future change orders. Therefore, the proposed change order here of $1,194,167.77 is necessary to complete this work. This proposed change order also extends the final completion and substantial completion date 18 weeks. Great Lakes Construction Company is the contractor on this project. They are remaining committed to achieving the 19% DBE participation goal that was assigned to the project. Both procurement and engineering have collaboratively worked together to ensure the change order process has been followed and it has been reviewed and approved by the change order committee. Therefore, we request that this committee recommend approval of the proposed change order to the Great Lakes Construction Company in the negotiated amount of $1,194,167.77, resulting in a new contract not to exceed value of $17,917,411.74. Further, we'd like to reinstate the general manager's change order authority back to the original $500,000 and extend the project 18 weeks. Questions?
Do I have any questions from the committee?
Thank you for the presentation. Just for refresh my memory, could you kind of lay back out the timeline, or at least the original timeline for the portals project and start date to, it looks like you're now talking about that 18-week extension.
I'll let Mike chime in on this. Go ahead.
We started the work in February 24, so we're a little over a year into it. It has an original schedule of like 26 months, so it's going to go well into 2026. This will take it to the end of 2026. And, you know, there are the different phases that we have are also organized around when we can serve some of our special event things. So last year they actually were a little bit ahead, but we couldn't move them forward because of the way we had our outages scheduled for like for the brown season. So right now the phasing that we have going on again, will take us to the end of 26. There is a little bit more work. Obviously, with the additional patching, it takes longer, but it also falls into some of the other things that we have coming into next year. So we address the schedule as well as the cost with the change order. And so we're going to still be down there until, you know, another year and a half, until we're 100% done. After the current phase is over, then we'll move to track 13, which is the eastbound track. So we have to kind of time those movement of phases. So it's not like you can catch up a lot. So yeah, we're going to be down there for a while. This is our largest construction project that's going on in the system right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee or from the board as a whole?
One question, Mike, is I think this was the 13th change order on this project?
Yeah.
Are these the prior ones, just to refresh my recollection, are they all basically for the same reason, the extensive work that's required, or were there other items?
I mean, there are other items. This is a unit price contract, so if we have a bid item that's going to go over, we do have to do a change order to cover an overage, but we also do change orders to cover underruns. So there have been, I can't go through the whole list, but there have been a number of things relative to overrun, underrun, and then there's also been some things with unforeseen conditions we found. We had some issues with some of the rail being, some additional rail that needed to be replaced in track 6 and 7, which we've already done. And we've had a couple change orders, relative to phasing and scheduling and other, other items that we're doing there. So there's a lot of work. Fortunately, none of them added up to a lot of money in terms of the scale of the project, but this one, obviously we had a bid item with the wrong quantity. We're still trying to figure out what happened there, but our focus has been able to keep the contract going so we don't hold up the contractor any farther while we address the patching bid item. We're far enough in the project. We're about 50 to 55% complete, and so have completed, an initial phase. So we got a pretty good idea where we are, but this is definitely an item that we had to address. And once even with all the concrete you saw in the one photo, as we're chipping from the ceiling and the walls, we're not going to stop because we ran out of bid quantity. We have to fix it right. This is a 100-year-old facility, and we want to keep it restored in a way that we can use it for a long time.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments from the committee or the board? I do have one. This is a more general comment with that. It looks as though this was, let's say this, we're essentially approving 2 times the original amount to make it 3 times overall, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Not in dollars, but in square footage of patch. So when it comes to that, the bid quantity, the estimate, I would like to see at least a look at the procedure and process of that to be sure that we're actually getting the best number in there that we can from the get-go. There may not be anything to change at this point with this particular project, and I certainly don't think this is a reason to hold anything up. We have to fix what's there. But at, the number that we started with was 2,900, and we're changing to 9,300 square feet. That's a big change. So I just hope we're looking at that procedure to make sure that we can have a more accurate bid number in the future on items like this.
Yeah,
and feel free to respond or not as usual.
No, it's okay. Yeah, to the members of the committee. We are looking at this. Obviously, we haven't figured out exactly what happened, but we will figure out what happened on that bid quantity. And then we will pursue a remedy depending on what we find out. For some of the members of the board that have been here a long time, we had the same issue on the viaduct project, and that ended up leading to a resolution with the consultant that had made that error. We're not sure on this one. We're not far enough along to know what did or didn't happen, so I don't want to speculate. But right. We will look at that so that if there is something, some remedy we need to do, we will pursue that.
Great, thanks. All for reducing risk where possible. If there's no any other questions or comments, I will move to bring this to the board for approval. Do I have a second?
Quick comment before you do.
Go ahead.
Just to be able to kind of add to that, this is very unusual. Anytime you have a change order that's in excess of $1 million, we take that very seriously. We take them all seriously, but with a building, the age and the scope of what we're talking about at Tower City is very much one leads to another. And so as Mike mentioned, the team is really making sure that we have a concerted effort to make sure we get to the bottom of all the quantities that are involved and then all of the dollar amounts that succeed that. As information, we will be scheduling additional educational sessions through board tours, and this will be included in that. So we have that scheduled right before the board meeting as well, so that you'll have a bird's eye view of exactly what we're talking about, so that it's a physical representation of what you're hopefully approving, and so that you understand and we can talk through a lot of the semantics at that location and that time as well. So you will be probably a little bit more intimate with the details of it before we meet again on the 17th. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and to be clear, there's just a perfectly good reason to accept risk at times, and that may be the case here. Let's just take a look at that process and analyze from there. So there's a motion to bring this to the full board. Do I have a second?
Second, Love.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? This resolution will be brought to the full board. We now have the second agenda item is a proposed change order. Let's see. Another proposed change order. It's a presentation of a negotiated change order for additional design services to the Central Rail Maintenance Facility modifications for the new rail car contract. Jonathan Lawley will stay and be joined by Derek Menke, Engineer Project Manager. Apologies if I pronounce your name incorrectly.
This sounded good to me, thank you.
Floor is yours.
Good morning, Chair Sleesman, committee members, and members of the board. My name is Derek Menke, and I'm the Mechanical Engineering Project Manager. I'll be presenting a design services proposed change order for the Central Rail Maintenance Facility new railcar modifications. Contract number 2024-065 was awarded to Richard L. Bowen and Associates Incorporated on July 30th, 2024 by resolution number 2024-54 for design services for Central Rail Maintenance Facility modifications for the new rail cars in an amount not to exceed $472,484.95. The project is located within the Central Rail Maintenance Facility, including new service balconies over east and west service pits, new overhead cranes, and a new overhead catenary system. The design work is to prepare the shop for new railcar maintenance after the new railcars are commissioned. In the picture here, you can see the west service pit in the Central Rail Maintenance Facility. There's a very similar east service pit on the other side of the building. On the left side, you have track 4, in the middle, track 5, and on the right, track 6. Currently, all of the work to the existing fleet is performed in the service pits, and the work on the future Siemens fleet will be performed via the service balconies between tracks 4 and 5 and between tracks 5 and 6. One change in this proposed change order is to add additional power drops in the service pits for hydraulic filter flushing carts. The carts are a recent Siemens directed requirement. A recent visit to Siemens in Germany, our rail equipment staff discovered that we need this equipment from Siemens. This equipment basically bleeds and flushes the hydraulic braking system on the new rail cars and can increase the purity of the hydraulic fluid to a certain ISO purity class. The other change is for balcony modifications to account for heavy rail vehicle rooftop equipment not identified in the initial project scope. As you can see in the picture here, there's some equipment. There's a wooden platform used to service the pantographs when employees are on the rail car. There's a cab vent, and there's some grab handles for emergency access to the top of the rail car. These items weren't initially identified in the rail car profile. So you can see there's a quick sketch on how we're planning to account for those items, because these rail cars will have to clear the new mezzanines, the new service balconies for some time while we're commissioning the new rail cars. And the engineer's estimate for both these changes is $37,156.92.
Good morning again. The notice to proceed for this project was issued on August 26, 2024. For this project, the general manager's signing authority is $100,000. One change order has been issued, and as a result of that, there's $107.02 remaining on the current signing authority. This proposed change order is for a negotiated $18,384.31, which will include all costs associated with this design effort. Richard L. Bone and Associates Incorporated is the designer on this project. They've committed to achieving the 13% DBE participation goal. Procurement and engineering have collaboratively worked together to follow the change order process. And we recommend that this committee recommend approval of the proposed change order to Richard L. Bone and Associates in a negotiated amount not to exceed $18,384.31, resulting in a new contract not to exceed amount of $590,762.24. This change order will also reinstate the signing authority of the general manager back to $100,000. Any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. Do I have any questions from the committee? Mr. Love.
Thank you for the overview. Just maybe a point of clarification. I see there's a request for reinstatement of the change order authority up to $100,000 at this point in the design phase of the project. Is that just a contingency, and is there anticipated additional change orders?
I wouldn't anticipate any additional change orders. The design is about 95% complete. And with being able to move forward with this proposed change order, we can get to 100% and then advertise the project for construction bid.
Any other questions from the committee or from the board as a whole? If not, do I have a motion to bring this to the full board?
Motion, Love.
Second from Reverend Lucas. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. This resolution will go to the full board for approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And our final item is another proposed change order, and we'll get a presentation of a negotiated change order for additional construction services for the Brook Park Maintenance Facility modifications. We will once again get Jonathan Lawley, but before him, we'll get Donald Taraba, if I'm saying that right. Engineer Project Manager, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Sleesman, committee members, members of the board. My name is Donald Tariba. I'm the Engineering Project Manager of Facilities for the Greater Cleveland RTA, and I'll be presenting on the PCO number 6 in the resetting of the General Manager's signing authority, along with Jonathan Lawley from the Procurement Department. This contract, number 2024-112, was awarded to Sona Construction, LLC on October 29, 2024 by resolution number 2024-76 for building modifications for the Brook Park Maintenance Facility, an amount not to exceed $1,281,000. This is a photo showing the location of the facility. It was an old manufacturing facility. It's approximately a mile east along Brook Park Road from the existing Brook Park Maintenance Facility. Was at the Brook Park Shops and the Rapid Station. It's about a mile east of there. The project scope, the building is at 15583 Brook Park Road. And this project involves extensive changes required to make this building now suitable for use for both the RTA Rail Facilities Maintenance Department and office space and parking for transit police. The project is approximately 50% complete to date. Proposed change order number 6 is due to unforeseen work required to address numerous electrical code issues in the existing facilities. This change will eliminate safety risks and allow the facility to pass the required building and electrical inspections. These issues are existing and not related to the electrical work that was included in the plans. I'll now turn it over to Jonathan Lawley.
All right, the base contract here, as Don indicated, was authorized by Resolution 2024-76. The notice to proceed was effective on December 11th of 2024. The signing authority for the general manager in this project is $128,100. To date, there have been 4 change orders issued, and there's $84,187.56 remaining on the current signing authority. This proposed change order was negotiated at a cost of $151,015.42 and will take care of the electrical code issues that we have. Sona Construction LLC is the prime contractor on this project, and they remain committed to achieving the 11% DBE participation goal assigned to the project. Procurement and engineering have collaboratively worked together to follow the change order process, and the change order committee has reviewed that process and approved moving this change forward. We recommend or request that the committee here recommend approval of the proposed change order to Sona Construction LLC in a negotiated amount not to exceed $151,015.42, resulting in a new total contract value not to exceed $1,475,927.86. This will also reinstate the general manager's change order authority to $128,100. Any questions?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Can certainly appreciate not knowing all the maintenance you're going to have to do, or all the renovations you're going to have to do until you get into the walls of the place. Do I have any questions from the committee? Or from the board as a whole?
Just a quick, this one you can also put on your tentative dance calendars for later on this year. We'll also have, be in addition to the tour schedule, probably between Q3 and Q4.
Okay. If there are no questions, oh, there was one. Yeah.
Just wanted, maybe for Mike, I'm just trying to remember, this was the building we purchased a year or two ago? Is that right?
Yeah, Mayor Weiss and members of the committee, we did purchase the building and completed a redesign effort, but I think as Don had mentioned, this one was definitely an unforeseen condition once they tore into things and started laying out the electrical for, that we were going to feed our different pieces of equipment with, and with the offices that the existing electrical within the building was not what we thought it was, and definitely needed to be brought up to code.
Thanks.
Just for additional information, I'm going to actually ask Reverend Lucas if you did remember, I think you toured this building. You might have been one of the few board members that were on the board that are sitting here today that saw it in the original condition. It was about 2 years ago, Mike, if I'm not mistaken. So Mayor Weiss, you might have been relatively new at that time, and the majority, and same for Kumar. But Reverend, you did take that tour, if you recall. I didn't know if you had any additional comments. It was not in the best of shape when we had it. It was a great shell, but it's definitely changing since then.
Okay, in that case, I will move to bring this to the full board for approval. Do I have a second?
Second, Gallo.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, and this resolution will go to the full board for approval. That is our final item for the committee. I will move to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second, Love.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This committee meeting stands adjourned at 9:45.
Thank you. I'll now call to order the Committee of the Whole. The clerk, please call the roll.
Sorry, Mayor Kumar, Lauren Welch, Anastasia Elder,
Here.
Mayor Gallo,
Here.
Mr. Love,
Here.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson, Ms. Pachetti, Mr. Sleesman,
Yep.
Mayor Weiss.
Here. There are two items for the committee. One is approval of the minutes of March 18th, 2025. You have draft attached. Any comments or corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Moved by Mr.
Second.
Kumar, seconded by Mr. Sleesman. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, minutes are approved. The reason I'm kind of sitting in here, or starting chairing for this committee today, is that the second topic is the first quarter 2025 internal audit activities report. We moved this back because of scheduling issues, but we're here to take this report from Mr. Garrett Foley, the Executive Director of Internal Audit. Tony, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good morning, Mayor Weiss, members of the Committee of the Whole, executive leadership, and any guests that are here online or in the building. For the record, my name is Anthony Garofoli, Executive Director of Internal Audit, and I'll be presenting the results of the internal audit activities for the first quarter 2025. Please refer to this report that was distributed to you prior to the meeting. For the record, on May 13th, 2025, we presented these activities in detail to the Audit Committee. Today's presentation is a summary. I'll now go through the report. On pages 3 through 5 of the 2025 Internal Audit Plan. This was approved at the February 25th, 2025 board meeting. Per our professional audit standards, the plan was aligned with the GCRTA strategic plan and performance metrics, including customer experience, community impact, financial health, and employee investment. Moving on through pages 6 through 9, please find the results of 5 audit projects from that plan that we completed during the first quarter. These projects are employee travel expense requests, Tower City Customer Service Center, an audit of our Transit Ambassador Program, Transit Police body-worn cameras, and an audit of rail cleanliness. We met with management, received their responses to our audit recommendations, and released the reports. We'll track the implementation of the recommendations within our audit management system, and there were no issues for board consideration. Moving on, page 10 is a summary and matrix of our work to provide assurance on compliance with Federal Transit Administration grant requirements for the different vehicle replacements contracts approved by the board. During the first quarter, we conducted 6 vehicle replacement audits. There were no issues for board consideration. On pages 11 through 15 are the results of our continuous auditing program, where we develop audit scripts to interrogate system data in real time, completing 100% audits for the transactions. Those audits were fare collection, purchasing card transactions, nepotism, employee payroll, and paratransit client eligibility and certification. We shared the results with appropriate stakeholders. There were no issues for board consideration. On pages 16 through 23 is the report section focused on the rail car replacement program. Per the request of the Audit Committee and this board, we included the results of our audit activities related to the entire program with focus on change orders and contractor payments. Please note on page 17, project management completed the pre-manufacturing design review process, a significant milestone in February. Ms. Birdsong Terry's office sent pictures of the new rail car shells in production at the Sacramento facility about 2 weeks ago. You should have received them in your email. On page 18, we included a copy of the change order log maintained by our procurement department.
there were no change orders to the Siemens Mobility contract during the first quarter. To date, the total value of the Siemens Mobility contract and change orders is $308,389,849.21. Total payments to the contractor, and I updated this as of May 30th, your report says May 5th, are $86,183,261.33, representing 30% of the contract paid. On pages 19 and 20 are tables to summarize the railcar replacement program contracts, amounts, expenditures, and change orders. Internal audit is engaged in various audits as we continue to assess risk and compliance. The status of those audits is detailed on pages 20 through 23. We will report on the results of those audits in future meetings with the Audit Committee. On pages 24 through 32 are projects in various stages of completion per our 2025 internal audit plan. Please note we added the project phase to provide our readers with transparency and information status. We will report on these projects in future audit committees as well. On pages 33 through 34, please find the details and updates of 4 special requests and emerging issues. We're completing these projects in our role as Inspector General for the GCRTA. We'll share the results of these investigations with appropriate stakeholders in accordance with our audit charter. We'll follow up on all outstanding audit recommendations. Rounding out page 35 is our efforts to work with our external auditors. We are currently working with the state auditor who is on-site completing the field work for the 2024 financial and single audit with Raj Gautam's team. And they are scheduled to present their results later this month. We're also working with the Federal Transit Administration's Program Management Oversight Consultant for the railcar project. The remainder of the report is informational. We'll continue to follow up on all audit recommendations to validate corrective actions are implemented. We participated in a number of steering committees and meetings to team and share risk management strategies. Page 39 is the staff training we had during the quarter, and the last page of the report is our staff profiles. At this time, I can take any questions from the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Garofoli. As he mentioned, we did have, the audit committee had an extensive, probably one of our longer committee meetings in some time on a wide range of topics. And Mr. Garofoli and his team presented very well on a wide range of topics. So, and I should mention that we open that up to any of the board members who care to join. If there are other questions for today? All right, seeing none. No action that's required
No, sir.
today. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Garofoli.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's the last item for the Committee of the Whole. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second. Elder.
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstain? Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
So I'm subbing.
And
Do an external next. Okay, I'd like to call the, let me see, Elder Love. I'm going to fill in for Lauren since she is out today. I'd like to call to order the External and Stakeholder Relations and Advocacy Committee. You call the roll, please, Avis?
Mayor Kumar,
Yes. Here.
Ms. Welch, Mr. Love,
Here?
Reverend Lucas, and Ms. McPherson. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have one item today to reappoint members to the Community Advisory Committee. 3 members, and Natoya Walker-Minor, Deputy General Manager, Administration External Affairs, will be presenting.
Sure. Good morning, Chair, and to the board. This item today is a request to reappoint 3 members to the Community Advisory Council. We are requesting to reappoint 3 members to the Community Advisory Council. Historically, for years, GCRTA has had a Community Advisory Council. In 2023, we re-energized the Community Advisory Council, and with that, we conducted applications and interviews and selected 11 members. The role of the Community Advisory Council is to support public transit in Northeast Ohio and to assist the authority in fulfilling its mission and vision through supporting the authority's provision of services to individuals with disabilities and advocating and educating the community regarding the authority's interests.
Ms. Minor, if I may just interrupt for a quick procedural thing.
Oh,
Ms. Anastasia Elder is a member of this committee. Her name was erroneously omitted. I just want to acknowledge that she is present, and we do have a quorum. Sorry about the interruption.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. Teamwork. Thank you. And sorry about that oversight. Initially, the board appointed 11 members to staggered terms. 3 of the members were appointed to 1-year terms, while 8 of the members were appointed to 2-year terms. The 3 members who were in 1-year terms, their terms have expired. Those members include Johnny Brewington, Nicole Laird, and Dr. Joseph Sopko. Dr. Sopko, who is the chair of the CAC. So at present, those 3 members are operating in expired terms. We are here today recommending 2-year terms for those 3 persons that are actively engaged in the Community Advisory Council, and we are recommending 2 years so that the terms remain staggered. This is a listing that identifies Johnny Brewington, Nicole Laird, and Dr. Sopko. By way of their history, Johnny Brewington is a retired fire chief of Whitmere. He also was with the city of Cleveland. He's been active with the CAC for years, even before we reconstituted. Nicole Laird is a planner with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and she's actively engaged with this work. And then lastly, Dr. Joseph Sopko, who is a retired physician who worked at St. Vincent's Charity Hospital for more than 40 years, and he is presently the chair of the CAC. Staff requests that the External and Stakeholder Relations and Advocacy Committee recommend these 3 CAC members to the Board of Trustees for reappointment to a 2-year term. Are there any questions?
Anything from the committee for the full board?
No questions. I'm just glad to see that they're reappointed. They've been very engaged in the committee since it was reinstated, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee McPherson is the board liaison for this committee.
Excellent.
Very proud of what you've done with this, because when we made the reorganization, and it's worked very smoothly. I know all of you. Congratulations to you and your committee.
Thank you very much.
You would like a motion to move this to the full board?
Yes.
Okay. Is there such a motion?
Motion, Elder?
Second, Love?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I believe that's all the business we have today.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion, Love?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
think last but not least, I call to order the Audit, Safety, Compliance, and Real Estate Committee to order. Please call the roll.
Mayor David Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Lauren Welch, Ms. Anastasia Elder,
Here.
Ms. Emily Pachetti, and Mr. Sleesman.
Here.
We have 3 out of 5.
We have quorum. Two items. First is approval of the minutes of March 13, 2025. You have drafts in your packet. Any corrections or changes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Sleesman.
Second, Elder.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. The second item is to go into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or the sale of property at competitive bidding. I'll make a motion to go into executive session. Do we have a second?
Second, Elder.
Seconded by Ms. Elder. Would the clerk please call the roll for the motion to go into executive session?
It would be Mayor Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Welch, Ms. Anastasia Elder,
Yes.
Ms. Pachetti, and Mr. Sleesman.
Yes.
All right.
How'd you like to?
Yes. So if I can have all board members head to the caucus room right here next door. And then if we can also have staffers, I'll repeat your names here. Jim Reed, Mike Shipper, Janet Burney, Mike Fessler, Mary Beth Feek, Rajan Gotham, and Flonse Caver.
Great. Thank you. It's been moved. Is there a second to come out of executive session?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mayor David Weiss,
Yes.
Lauren Welch, Anastasia Elder,
Yes.
Emily McPachetti, and Mr. Sleesman.
Yes.
We're out of executive session. If there's nothing else, then I'll make a motion to adjourn the committee meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sleesman. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.